Everyone, so today we're going to break down a really cool piece of racing tech that's probably on a lot of the bikes we ride every day, the slipper clutch. Yeah, it started on the racetrack, but what it really does for you on your daily commute, well, that might just surprise you.
So to kick things off, I've got a weird question for you. What could a simple plastic zip tie possibly have in common with a super complex motorcycle clutch? I know, it sounds totally random, but trust me, the answer to this one question is the absolute key to understanding how a slipper clutch actually works. Stick with me, it's all going to make perfect sense.
All right, so before we can really get the solution, we first have to talk about the problem. And this is a problem the slipper clutch was specifically invented to solve. It all comes down to a feeling that pretty much every single rider has felt at some point. Just picture it. You're heading into a corner, maybe you downshift a little too hard, a little too fast, and the whole bike just lurches forward, and you feel that rear tire start to skip and hop across the pavement. It's not a good feeling. It messes up your line, and if it's bad enough, you could even lose control.
Okay, so let's put a name to that nasty feeling. It's called back torque. What's happening is your rear wheel is spinning really fast, right? But the engine is suddenly spinning much slower after that downshift. So now you have this massive conflict where the fast wheel is literally trying to force the slow engine to speed up. That fight, that backward force, is back torque. And that's exactly what causes that dangerous wheel hop.
So now that we've met our villain, back torque, it is time to introduce the hero of our story, the piece of tech designed specifically to tame that force. And here's a really cool little detail. Its official, technical name basically gives the whole game away. It's called a back torque limiting clutch. Its entire job is right there in the name. It exists to limit the bad effects of back torque and keep the bike stable. Simple as that.
Okay, so we know what it does, but the really interesting question is how does it do it? And this, my friends, is where that humble little zip tie comes back into the picture. Let's break down the super clever mechanical idea that makes this whole thing possible.
Remember that question from the beginning? Well, here's the payoff. A zip tie is a perfect one-way machine, right? The tail slides through the head in one direction, nice and easy to tighten it down. But you try to pull it back the other way? Nope, it locks solid. A slipper clutch is built on that exact same idea, allowing force to go smoothly in one direction, but stopping a jarring force from going in the opposite direction.
Here's another way to think about it that I think is just brilliant. Imagine those curbs on a racetrack. From one side, they have a gentle, angled slope so a tire can just roll right up and over it, no problem. But from the other side, it's a hard, vertical wall. You can go one way, but you can't go the other. It's the same exact mechanical concept. So how does this actually work inside a clutch? Well, the main parts have these special angled ramps machined into them. When you're accelerating, the power from the engine pushes these ramps together and that locks the clutch up solid, just like normal. But when back torque flows the other way, from the wheel to the engine, that force hits the steep side of those ramps, and that angle physically forces the clutch plates apart just a tiny bit, enough to slip. That slip instantly relieves all that dangerous pressure and keeps your back wheel from locking up.
But wait, that's only half the story. It turns out that this brilliant design has a second amazing benefit. It's kind of a side effect that, for most of us riding on the street, is actually way more noticeable than the slip function itself.
So get this. Those exact same ramps that allow the clutch to slip, they have a second job. When the engine is driving the wheel forward, that rotational force on those angled ramps actually creates this extra wedging effect. It actively helps squeeze the clutch plates together. In other words, they are assisting the clutch springs in doing their job.
Now, why is that such a huge deal? Well, because the ramps are helping provide that clamping force, engineers can get away with using much softer, much lighter clutch springs. And softer springs mean one very important thing for you, the rider, a way lighter, much easier pull at the clutch lever.
And that, right there, is why the proper name for this technology is a slip and assist clutch. It's all in the name. The slip part is there to save you if you botch a downshift, and the assist part is there to help you, making your life easier at the lever. It's one awesome mechanism with two totally different jobs. So now we get the two functions, slip and assist. But what does this really mean for us in the real world? How does this race-bred tech actually translate from a high-speed racetrack to the reality of just getting to work every day?
On the track, that slip feature is absolutely everything. It lets a racer slam down through the gears at the last possible second before corner without making the bike unstable.
The rear wheel stays planted, the whole chassis stays calm, and they can carry more speed and turn in way faster. It is a pure performance and safety game changer.
But in daily traffic, the story is completely different. The biggest, most significant benefit you will feel every single day is the assist function. That super light clutch pull is a massive advantage for comfort. It seriously reduces the fatigue in your hand when you're stuck in stop-and-go traffic. The slip function is still there, of course, kind of like a safety net if you make a mistake, but the assist is what you're going to love minute to minute.
This quote just sums it up perfectly, doesn't it? It really captures the two-sided nature of this tech. It's one piece of hardware, but its main benefit completely changes depending on whether you're on a racetrack or stuck in rush hour.
And that really leaves us with one final thought. When a manufacturer proudly says their new bike has a slipper clutch, are they selling you a high-performance race feature that, let's be honest, most of us will rarely ever actually need? Or are they actually giving us a brilliant comfort feature, just cleverly disguised in the exciting language of the racetrack? Kind of makes you